So I was at UC Irvine's SPOP orientation just a few days ago, and I was talking to one of my people that I met. I made friends with him, and he basically was talking about, and because he's Filipino, about this weird interaction that he had with this one girl. I think that was in his, I don't know, like a house cabin, whatever it's called at UC Irvine, where you stay in Mesa Court. Um, and she seemed to like him, but he caught on that she liked him in a weird way. Like you could tell it was a fetish rather than anything genuine when it comes to attraction. Obviously, she would be genuinely attracted, but more towards the fetishistic lens of, being with a Filipino. And this was like a white woman. I was really thinking to myself, like, this relationship, racial imbalance within it, why fetishism exists in the first place, for instance. Not fetishism like religion, but like fetishism. Never mind. And, you know, more specifically, the dynamics socially and racially between white people and white women, for instance, and minorities, and the way that they vote in elections. And then going on to personal relationships. And then we'll answer the question, are snow bunnies evil? No, but they can definitely improve. Look, me personally, like when I'm asked this question, I think it's always weird to kind of like say that like you don't really want to date people just because of their race. I feel like in a sense though, I'm not really attracted to white women at all. Well, there's attractive white women. Sabrina Carpenter, Anne Hathaway, Connolly when she was a little jit, but oh, adult, adult, young adult. I need to like reference that. Um, but honestly, I live by a certain philosophy. If she's brown, I'm down. If she's rice, she's nice. If she's black, I'll crack. If she's Mexican, we'll have sex again. And if she's from the Middle East, we'll have a little feast. But if it's snowing, I ain't going. Look, and I don't even mean to sound like Dr. Umar, but realistically, I just feel like there's a different social dynamic, especially when it comes to like um, different groups of people who are generally going to be immigrants in America and have these different lived experiences as opposed to, white people. Look, my friend, and like the way that white people themselves are in America, I feel like oftentimes they're going to be more conservative, and that's just kind of a given because they've been in America the longest. I was talking to my friend, and he was talking about like, because he's going to BYU, he's going to go to Utah. Um, and he was talking about Utah, and it's like, dude, it's snow bunny heaven in Utah. If that's heaven, take me to hell. Please take me to hell, because I don't want to be there. It sounds awful in that place. Well, it sounds awful in snow bunny heaven. It's like Ronald Reagan's perfect imagination in one, and it's just the state of Utah. I don't want to be there. I've seen the videos of those girls dancing to, what was it, like Sexy Red or whatever, in the gas station, straight barefoot. Look, I like feet. Don't show me that, though. Okay, you know what? I'm done joking around. We're already 3 minutes in. Look, I feel like there's a specific dynamic that happens between white people and immigrants that kind of makes me want to align more towards dating people of an immigrant background. And that's basically just the political philosophies that these different groups follow, even like not even like explicitly, like implicitly. Think of like white people who have been in America for so long. Realistically, they're going to have more of a rights-based approach to politics, where they're going to, trying to emphasize their liberal, constitutionally given rights and necessities. These certain things. Take like Dean Withers, for instance. They always want to follow, what the established international order is, a rules-based international order, a constitution, all these different types of, concepts that help America be America. Meanwhile, immigrants, because of the way that America itself was marketed, focus on a material-based approach, that they want to improve their material conditions, and America is the way to do so. And we kind of see that in the way that politics plays out. So, for instance, in places of large immigrant populations with no specific attraction towards a political machine, like in Astoria in New York, Democratic socialists keep getting elected. Because they're the furthest left people. They're the ones that actually explicitly kind of care about material conditions and aren't, like far right Republicans talking about wanting to just deport you from your lands, even though they use the rhetoric of material conditions improving. Meanwhile, when I see like liberals on my feed, it's a completely different story. There's this one girl called Beatrice, the anti-plastic lady, that came up on my feed during California's gubernatorial elections, because I live there. Complete dog shit. I hate California elections. I don't like either of the candidates, but like realistically, Tom Steyer was the better one. And I hate saying that. I really do hate saying that because I'm inherently revolutionary, but like fuck, dude, like it's so bad in this state. It doesn't even matter at that point. Look. But she was, kind of going against it and supporting Becerra, who is like fucking 50 corporations in a trench coat, because of these small little details that do on paper matter, but when we're talking actual material benefit, like I think what I'm trying to say is white people aren't going to really care if, for example, a progressive leftist candidate wins and a more moderate centrist Democrat wins, simply because their material conditions and their place within society inherently is already kind of secured by virtue of them being white. So that rights-based versus materialism-based distinction exists within society. Oh, I realize this is already my longest video, and I'm talking about snow bunnies, dude. My final point about this is Latinos. Look, honestly, I feel like because this racial dynamic exists, America is inherently a racially ordered society. There is going to be, people, immigrants who want to escape this racial mold. And by escape, I mean become white. They want to assimilate into the culture. Perfect example is, I hate to say it, my dad. I mean, look, it's a one-off thing to be talking only to white people during a party for one time. And then when you keep doing it every single party, where in a party full of Latino people, by the way, you're only talking to the two white people, I kind of have to question, where are you really? What are you trying to achieve by, like, are they, like, could they be good people? Sure. But other people better. You should, like, inherently have that bond. Why are you talking, whatever. What I'm trying to say is, either way, there are relationships that I see, like, white man, Latina. I feel like a lot of that relationship is inherently fetishistic. I feel like white men fetishize Latinas way too much. At the same time, the whole, like, Latino woman, Latino man, white woman is also Latino men fetishizing white women. It feels like a way to escape this racial mold by trying to become white, because Latinos are, in a sense, this weird mix where we're close to being white, but we can never truly, like, ontologically, we can't really achieve being white within society by the sole, like, nature of how we're portrayed within media as being criminals, as being this and that. We'll only ever be the good ones as opposed to being our standalone. We'll never be white, basically, is what I'm trying to say. I'm rambling. If you don't know, my videos don't have a script. I'm just talking, and it's 9 minutes in already. So my final thoughts: are snow bunnies evil? No, but they can be better. I feel like if we have more of a focus towards material conditions actually improving, as opposed to a rights-based political approach, and kind of listening to the struggle of minorities, it's better. People like Beatrice, the anti-plastic lady, look, we need to escape liberalism as a mindset and start realizing that what we actually want is material change. And you have to recognize your position within society itself in order to be able to understand minorities better, is all I'm trying to say. So yeah, thank you for listening.